Hurricane Michael strengthening overnight, closing in on the Florida Panhandle. It could be the strongest storm ever to hit that area. Florida all the way to North Carolina on alert.
And take a look at Panama City Beach. They're seeing the effects of the storm already. And here's what Michael's looks like from space, spanning some 300 miles.
This is what we know right now. Hurricane Michael is now a major Category 4 storm. It's packing 145 mile-an-hour winds. Around 375,000 people across Florida were told to evacuate. The governor now says if you stay behind, seek shelter immediately.
World News Tonight anchor David Muir, as you can see, is leading our coverage from the storm zone, and he's starting us off in Panama City Beach. Good morning, David.
Robin, good morning. As you know, this hurricane's already making history before it gets here. It's a Category 4. It's the first time they've seen a Category 4 here in the Florida Panhandle. They've dealt with two hurricanes before, Opal and Dennis, two major hurricanes. They were both Cat 3, but at winds of 145 miles per hour already. This is now 65 miles south of where we are here in Panama City right now. And the hurricane hunters I spoke with overnight telling me their biggest fear in these final hours is that this hurricane is going to continue to travel over the warm waters of the Gulf with nothing to knock the power down. And that's exactly what's happened.
Overnight, monstrous storm Michael growing in strength. Now a Category 4 hurricane with winds up to 140 miles per hour. Gearing up to be the strongest in the Florida Panhandle's history. Inching closer to the coast with landfall expected early this afternoon. As the storm bears down on the Panhandle, residents are bracing for the worst. With the winds still picking up speed, this monster storm's outer bands already dumping torrential rain on portions of the southeast. While Hurricane Michael marches toward the Florida Panhandle, just miles to the south, a glimpse of what this powerful hurricane might bring. The view from space, massive. You can see Michael now some 400 miles across. Watch as the waves batter this cruise ship in the Gulf of Mexico. Passengers aboard the Empress of the Seas braving treacherous conditions as the ship steers out of the storm's path.
We battled 13 to 15 foot swells, and there were heavy rains at point. There was lightning out in the distance.
This morning, Florida officials now say hundreds of thousands of people have been asked to evacuate.
If you don't follow the warnings from these officials, the storm could kill you.
With officials declaring a state of emergency in 26 Florida counties and across the state of Alabama. I spoke with hurricane hunters on the front lines watching this Category 4 hurricane gain momentum from above.
As you watch as the system travels over the warm waters of the Gulf, what's your biggest concern?
It reminds me of some historical storms with the very warm waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico. I'm afraid that the forecast of continued intensification is really likely to occur.
That's why here in Florida this morning, residents are taking no chances. A last-minute sprint for those in the danger zone, gearing up for the mass evacuations throughout the region. And for residents like Joan and Hillary Stanton, they say boarding up to ride out the hurricane at home is the only choice.
I just feel like you're safer if you just stay put and batten down the hatches.
I think it's more dangerous to be on the roads right now with all the traffic. It feels safer here, which sounds crazy because it's a hurricane barreling towards us.
Many neighborhoods are hunkering down together, preparing to help each other if they need to.
We're all in this together. We're one giant family. Since we've all experienced this type of storm at some point.
Several of the neighbors have boats ready in their yards and some heavy equipment just in case.
The satellite images of this storm are really dramatic to see them. You can see that eye is fully formed as this storm strengthens. The storm surge forecast has been updated as we've been on the air all morning long. They're now expecting a storm surge up to 13 feet from Panama City to Apalachicola. So we're going to be watching that, a real threat from the storm surge, but also the winds as they tear through here. And as you know, the governor here in Florida, Rick Scott, telling everyone that the time to get out has now passed, hunker down. But he did warn everyone that emergency vehicles will not be able to get to people if they're in need during the height of this storm, Robin. And he also said this storm can kill. And as we just reported there, it's been deadly already on its path to get here.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.